Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Camilla, and today is another day, and another day means another book award long list reaction. So today we are March 10th, and the International Booker Prize has just released their long list, so I just wanted to react to it. I am not planning on reading any of them. As you may have seen in my Women's Rights for Fiction video, I'm planning on kind of focusing on that prize. But last year, or the last kind of 2 years, the International Booker Prize, I feel like, has introduced me to like new to me writers from all over the world, and I just love that. And especially obviously for me, I'm really always looking for new authors from South America that I'm kind of very keen to read more by contemporary authors from that area. So yeah, and I love world literature, so I think this is a good one. I've only opened the tabs for each book, but I don't know what any of the books are about. I've just seen the titles, so this will be a very like initial reaction. All right, let's start with, okay, I think it's Paradais by Fernanda Melchor. Melchor? I feel like I should be able to pronounce it in Spanish, but somehow I just can't picture it. And this was translated by Sophie Hughes. So it says, written in a chilling torrent of prose by one of Mexico's most thrilling new writers, Paradais explores the explosive fragility of Mexican society. It continues on to say it's basically based inside like a luxury housing where like two teenagers are like sneaking around and getting drunk. And there's also the community gardeners who wants to quit his job, and yeah, it sounds really, actually this sounds right up my alley. I'll probably add it to my TBR. I'm always very intrigued by, like I've said, kind of contemporary Latin American culture. I haven't been home to see my family in like 10 years, so it's been a while since I've been in South America, and it's just always nice to see the reality of today's society and relationships and work and dreams. So yeah, this sounds great. Next is Heaven by Mieko Kawakami. Kawakami is actually on my TBR. I've been meaning to read Breast and Eggs. I have a copy, I've still not gotten to it. I have actually been seeing Heaven in my, I want to say like library apps, like on ebooks. So that's really cool. I'll probably add it to my TBR as well. I don't know what it's about yet. It says it was translated by Samuel Bett and David Boyd. Told through the eyes of a 14-year-old boy subjected to relentless bullying, this is a haunting novel of the threat of violence that can stalk our teenage years. Alright, that sounds interesting. I'm assuming it'll be based in Japan, but I guess we'll see. Next we stay in Asia, I believe. Yes, it's Love in the Big City by Sun Young Park and translated by Anton Hur. Yeah. All right, this sounds interesting. Yeah, so it says it's in Korea. Yeah. An energetic, joyful, and moving novel that depicts both the glittering nighttime world of Seoul and the bleary-eyed morning after. Ooh, that sounds cool. Young is a cynical yet fun-loving Korean student who pinballs from home to class to the bed of recent Tinder matches. With his female best friend and roommate, they frequent nearby bars where they suppress anxieties about their love lives, families, and money with a round of soju and freezer-chilled Marlboro Reds. Oh, that sounds really interesting. Like very much like, I want to say like an anxious effervescence of youth, you know? And that sounds really interesting, and it's going to be great that it's like based in Seoul, so be able to see like that reality as well. This is actually, I'm astounded by this list as of now. I'm loving it. Next is Happy Stories Mostly by Norman Erikson Pasaribu and translated by Tiffany Tsao. Alright, where is this from? I wish they said like it was translated from what language into English, because that'd be nice. Pasaribu seems to be from Indonesia, so powerful blend of science fiction, ooh, absurdism, and alternative historical realism that aims to destabilize the heteronormative world and expose its underlying rot. Wow, that sold me in like one very elaborate sentence. Inspired by Simone Weil's Simone Wells' concept of decreation and drawing on Batak and Christian cultural elements, in happy stories mostly. Pasaribu puts queer characters in situations and plots conventionally filled by hetero characters. Oh, that sounds fab. Yeah, can't wait. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. It says here, a department of heaven devoted to archiving and unanswered prayers. Okay, should I switch? Should I read this long list instead? Sounds amazing up to now. I want to read every one of these books. Alright, the next one is Elena Knows by Claudia Piñeiro. And I actually had that one on my TBR and actually downloaded it on my tablet, so I have it to read. And this is, I think, translated from the Spanish by Frances Riddle, yeah. Because I believe she's from Argentina, is that correct? Yes. A unique story that interweaves crime fiction with intimate tales of morality and the search for individual freedom. After Rita is found dead in the bell tower of the church she used to attend, the official investigation into the incident is quickly closed. Her sickly mother is the only person still determined to find the culprit. Chronicling a difficult journey across the suburbs of the city, an old debt and a revealing conversation, Elena Knows unravels the secret of the characters and the hidden facets of authoritarianism. Okay, I know this word, I can't say it, I'm sorry. Sometimes my Frenchness really comes out, I'm sorry. And the hypocrisy in our society. Yes, that sounds great. I also really like the contrast and colors of the cover, and I think that's why originally I saved it on my, I think it's on Scribd. Yes, I just really, it looked really cool, and also it's obviously a contemporary female Latin American writer, so I wanted to try that. Alright, next is The Book of Mother, written by Violaine Huisman and translated by Leslie Camhi. So, I want to say that the author's French, yeah. Violaine Huisman's remarkable debut novel is an exquisitely wrought story about a daughter's inextinguishable this is testing my pronunciation in English, love for her magnetic mercurial mother. A magnificent alliteration. Beautiful and charismatic, Catherine, aka Maman, smokes too much, drives too fast, laughs too hard, and loves too extravagantly. During a joyful and chaotic childhood in Paris, her daughter Violaine wouldn't have it any other way. But when Maman is hospitalized after a third divorce and breakdown, everything changes. Oh my gosh, that sounds really good. Except if it's translated from French, I would probably look into reading it in French, because I think that would be better. Alright, next is More Than I Love My Life by David Grossman and translated by Jessica Cohen. Alright, sweeping story about loving with courage that asks us to confront our deepest held beliefs about a woman's duty to herself and to her children. Okay, doesn't say much about the plot, but cool. Let's see. On a kibbutz in 2008, Gilly is celebrating the 90th birthday of her grandmother Vera, the adored matriarch of a sprawling and tight-knit family. But festivities are interrupted by the arrival of Nina, the mother who abandoned Gilly as a baby. Nina's return precipitates an epic journey from Israel to the desolate island of Goli Otok, formerly part of Yugoslavia. It was here 5 decades earlier that Vera was tortured as a political prisoner. And it is here that the three women will finally come to terms with the terrible moral dilemma that Vera faced and that permanently altered the course of their lives. Oh my god, this list is literally serving us amazingness. I want to read this as well. Alright, next one is Phenotypes by Paulo Scott, or yeah, I don't know where they're from, so I'm struggling to pronounce the names without knowing. Anyway, and translated by Daniel Hahn. So Scott delivers a smart and stylish account of the bigotry lurking in the hearts and institutions alike. In this complex tale, two very different brothers of mixed black and white heritage are divided by the color of their skin, as racial tension rises in society and a guilty secret resurfaces from their shared past. Scott here probes the old wounds of race in Brazil and in particular the loss of a Black identity independent from the history of slavery. Exploratory rather than didactic, a story of crime, street life, and regret as much as a satirical novel of ideas. Phenotypes is a seething masterpiece of rage and reconciliation. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing as well. I'm feeling really inspired by this list. Like, it's really good. All right, next we're getting into these. Okay, I'm not a fan of these blue covers. I think it's like this publishing house that does these covers. No, I don't like it. But anyway, A New Name, Septology VI-VII by Jon Fosse, translated by Damion Searls. Let's see. Okay, it seems to be from Norway. So it's Jon, probably. Jon Fosse delivers both a transcendent exploration of the human condition and a radically other reading experience. Incantatory, hypnotic, and utterly unique. That's a beguiling description. Isle, that seems to be the name, but I don't know how to pronounce that Norwegian name, is an aging painter who lives alone on the coast of Norway. His only friend are his neighbors, Islake, a traditional fisherman farmer, and Bett, a gallerist who lives in the city. There in Bjorkvin, I think that's correct, lives another Isle, also a painter but lonely and consumed by alcohol. They are doppelgangers. I'm trying not to pronounce the name again. They're doppelgangers, two versions of the same person, two versions of the same life, both grappling with existential questions. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Oh, here. Oh, right. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. Yes. Okay. That's why it was called Septology VI-VII. So this is the final installment in the Septology. So I shouldn't start with that, is what this is telling me. I should probably start with the first part whenever I get. Norwegians love a saga. They do. I love it. All right. Next we have After the Sun by Jonas Eika and translated by Sherilyn Hellberg. This is also, yeah, so it's probably Jonas. It's from, they're from Denmark, or he is from Denmark. With irrepressible urgency, Eika's astonishing fiction juxtaposes startling beauty with grotesquerie and balances the hyper-realistic with the fantastical. After the Sun opens portals to our newest realities, haunting the margins of a globalized world that's both saturated with yearning and brutally transactional. Okay, this sounds weird, and I like it, but also I think this is the book up to now that I'm the least interested about, and I think it's because it seems like really out there. All right, next we have Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Sri and translated by Daisy Rockwell. Is this the one that was translated from Hindi? This seems to be from India. An urgent yet engaging protest against the destructive impact of borders, whether between religion, countries, or genders. Ooh, I'm already in. In northern India, an 80-year-old woman slips into a deep depression at the death of her husband, then resurfaces to gain a new lease on life. Her determination to fly in the face of convention confuses her bohemian daughter, who is used to thinking of herself as the more modern of the two. To her family's consternation, Ma then insists on traveling to Pakistan, confronting the unresolved trauma of her teenage experience of partition. Despite its serious themes, Gitanjali Sri's light touch and exuberant wordplay ensures that Tomb of Sand remains constantly playful and utterly original. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Guys, this list is amazing. All right, next we have the Books of Jacob by Olga Tokarczuk, who's from Poland, and who I talked about her recently in my video about the women who won Nobel Prizes for literature. And this book is quite a chunky one, I heard. It was translated by Jennifer Croft. So what is this about? Actually, I don't really know what it's about. I've just always seen how big it is, and I was like, no, I'm never reading that. Never doing it. All right, Tokarczuk's portrayal of Enlightenment Europe on the cusp of precipitous change, searching for certainty and longing for transcendence. Okay, In the mid-18th century, as new ideas come to sweep the continent, a young Jew of mysterious origins arrives in a village in Poland. Before long, he has changed not only his name but his persona, visited by what seems to be ecstatic experiences. Jacob Frank casts a charismatic spell that attracts an increasingly fervent following. In the decade to come, Frank will traverse the Habsburg and Ottoman empires as he reinvents himself again and again. He converts to Islam and then Catholicism, is pilloried as a heretic, and revered as the Messiah, and wreaks havoc on the conventional order with scandalous rumors of his sect's secret rituals and the spread of his increasingly iconoclastic beliefs. Whew, okay, that was a mouthful, but that sounds amazing. I still wouldn't read it just because of the sheer volume of the book, but it does sound really great. It sounds so, like there's so much, it's almost like an epic, so that, yeah. And finally, the last book is his Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung and translated by Anton Hur. Oh wait, we've seen him before, right? Yeah, I think so. Oh yes, because it's another, because another Korean writer, that's why. Bora Chung presents a genre-defying collection of short stories which blur the lines between magical realism, horror, and science fiction. Interesting. Korean author Bora Chung uses elements of the fantastic and surreal to address the very real horrors and cruelties of patriarchy and capitalism in modern society. Anton Hur's translation skillfully captures the way Chung's prose effortlessly glides from the terrifying to the wryly humorous. This sounds good. Oh my gosh, this entire list sounded amazing. I'm a lot more I feel disappointed in myself that I was like, I'm reading the Women's Prize, but now I want to read this list because this list sounds amazing. It sounds just powerful, timely, witty, and also just like, yeah, breaking boundaries of what we usually see in literature, especially contemporary literature. And this sounds like an amazing list. And I've done my reaction now. There's not much to it. I'm just like reevaluating all of my choices. I want to read this list now. No. I've already planned on reading. I think I'm gonna spend March, I'm gonna spend March as I've planned. The international bookers actually announcing their shortlist like in a few weeks only. I think it's early April, so maybe I'll look into the shortlist. You know, if I'm not feeling the Women's Prize long list, maybe I'll reevaluate when the shortlist for this comes out, and maybe I'll look into reading the shortlist for this prize instead, because it sounds good. But then we have another prize coming up, the Jalak Prize, which I believe is like authors of color. I think so. Published in the UK. That's coming out like, I want to say Sunday or Monday. So next week or the week after, I'm gonna have another video again with a reaction, and maybe that list will be interesting. But anyway, that sounds like an amazing list. Congrats to all of the authors and translators, and I love how they really do put the emphasis on both of, you know, that partnership basically. I think that's really cool. And yeah, that's an amazing list. Yeah, I'm very pleased for them, and I will definitely add many of them on my TBR. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and hey, see you back. Bye!